Okay, people, here we go. Another new LP on Disciple Records. It is from beastboi this time. It is called Wings and Fangs. We have 15 tracks here, interestingly divided up between disc 1 and disc 2, with disc 2 being significantly longer, 9 tracks compared with 6 tracks. And this is a follow-up, I think, to a couple of EPs that beastboi has dropped on Disciple so far. I think the signing happened in October 2022, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, been a while on the big label so far. And we're going to kick off, of course, with the opener, which is Dream 704 alongside Sid6, SYDCXX. Not entirely sure how you say that. Just wanted to mention as well, I haven't heard any of these yet, even though a couple have come out as singles. But yeah, let's go. Dream 704. Ooh. That's really nice. I love that. I love that. That's genuinely one of my favourite ideas of his yet in his whole discography. I know we're only halfway through, but so delicate, so kind of feathery and fragile with the idea, the production, all the sounds, just a really delicate approach. Ooh. I think someone mentioned it in the chat as well, but very much feels like a dream. Yeah, smooth is a fantastic word for it, I think. It glided along in a very smooth way. It had a very seamless transition from section to section, and the effortless kind of production to match that. Just a very nice, yeah, dreamy kind of tune to kick off the album. A good way to kick off the album. Not just coming in too hard with a really big, metallic, screechy, industrial, but, you know, also colourful in owing to his style kind of number. But yeah, just easing the album in here with a nice little chilled one, and genuinely one of my favourites of his yet in his whole discography. Just love the whole effortless, chilled, laid back feel of it. The production was fantastic to back up the idea. It's just a really nice way of opening up the project, quite unexpected as well. And the vocal was good from Sid6. I'm just going to say that. If I'm saying it wrong, do let me know below. But yeah, matched the instrumental well, and I'm sure that that is one that I'll get used to more and more as I go back to it more. Next up, we have Won't Feel Love the Same, which I think is one of the originals that came out before this album has dropped today. So yeah, one of the album singles. Let's go. Yeah, that vocal, instantly the earworm in my head. It's there, it's there. Ooh. Oh yeah, that vocal, I love it, I love it. That's a really interesting point, actually. Someone's saying about the vocal sampling being like knock twos, or, you know, on a par. Really not a bad shout. It's really not a bad shout. Very, very consistent on that front. Wanna be the same. Mate, that is catchy. I'm getting into that. I'm feeling that. I wonder where this comes from, this sample. It's got to be some kind of R&B track or something. Oh. Just the kick. Come on, give it to me. Yep. That is the development, the second drop change that I think was needed. Good stuff. Good stuff. The ideas don't have to be that memorable or stand out when the vocal is so readily giving the track its personality. from that, just from that alone. That is what is giving the track its kind of character, individuality, a very earwormy moment for the tune, and repeated very well across all sections on the track. And the housey beat is good. It's just the Beast Boys style freshened up here in particular and given more of a kind of upbeat outlay, if you will. I'm enjoying that a lot. Beast Boy, if you're watching this video, I would love to know where that particular sample comes from, because I want to hear that original tune now and then hear that sample again in the light of that. But yeah, that is definitely a tune I'm going to love. I'm going to love quite a bit as I go back to it. Super, super catchy stuff. Next up we have So High with Jack Blom, formerly known of course as Rip Tidal. But yeah, here we go. First collaboration? Oh no, second collaboration. Oh, going in again. Going in again with the housey beat. Okay. Oh, also, can we get some bigs in the chat? Bigs in the chat. These fingers just feel particularly appropriate for that beat, that's why I'm whipping them out. Interestingly, it's kind of sitting in that half space between house and garage, if you know what I mean. I think a lot of the production, the percussion overall, but has that garagey, you know, punchy, garagey kind of feel. But the outlay does feel a little bit houseier than just, you know, standard UKG, if you know what I mean. So oi, oi, oi. Yeah, that second drop that we just heard may be a little bit more ordinary than the first one on the tune. Didn't quite have the again, the personality the first one provides, with that fantastic idea, very underground feeling, boo 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 boo. Like I could feel I was in the rave. But I do like the thing in itself that they did switch it up and didn't just go for the exact same thing, because that might have been like, you know, beating a dead horse kind of situation, an idea overstaying its welcome. So I do like the fact that they switched it up for that second drop, but yeah, just not quite on the level of that first drop. But overall feel of the track, nice, production really good, and a good collaboration between those two overall. Next up we have track number 4, Just Waiting. Oh, it's a banger. This feels like the most classic Beast Boy introduction opening so far. Ugh. Ooh. Yeah, this one's getting me instantly moving. Not easy to do, but really feeling the flow of this one. It's tracks like these that make me think Disciple wanted to kind of get in there and sign him up before he did anything with Halcyon, because he could easily have become like a staple Halcyon artist. You know what I mean? This is predominantly his style. Disciple did a good thing, just kind of getting right in there, signing him up, making him a Disciple artist. Bit more stripped back this drop. Okay, very nice little outro there. Probably the first stereotypically, conventionally just familiar Beast Boy tune that we've had on the album so far. More of that future rhythm kind of vibe. The Leo Tricks kind of comparisons being made in the chat. Yeah, it has to be done. It is there as a comparison. We need them to work together if they haven't already. Have they made a collaboration together? Is that a thing? Has that happened yet? Loved some of the sounds in there. Really colourful. Just really good flow to them as well. Like the way they were just placed alongside one another, just made for a really good flow. Not often that I really feel like, you know, properly moving along with a track like that, but that one got me going. Just had such a nice fluid flowing kind of vibe about it. The second drop I think was a good progression and development, just a bit more stripped back, not quite as much going on, whilst retaining the feel. I mean, we're not talking about like particularly inventive or forward thinking ideas here, but again, it's that thing of kind of like the opener, the vocal sample was that good that you just have to kind of move along with it. Was it the opener? No, track number two. The sample there, the vocal sample's so good that, you know, that kind of constitutes as the idea. And for me here, with that track, it is the sounds in particular that just give it that personality and that flavour. Next up we have What Am I Doing Wrong? I don't know, man. Not really doing that much wrong so far. More housey vibes. Go on then. Oh, okay. A little bit more empty sounding than the other more upbeat cuts we've had here so far. But again, it's that thing of, can the vocal sample carry this one through? I think so far just about is, but there is something distinctly flatter about it than ones that have come before. Oh. Nice little breakdown. Nice little breakdown there. Nice little slow down there into the outro. Okay, I'm just gonna let that one run through. Got to appreciate that little streamlined approach. I like that. I like that. Oi. This is very chilled. I mean, we've had evidence of this before from him, especially at the beginning of this LP, but this is taking it to another level. Very summery vibes. Very summery vibes. My thought going into an album like this is that obviously we're going to get a bit of variety given it is an album, but what kind of variety is it going to be? And there we have quite distinct proof of Beast Boy going into an avenue that we haven't quite heard before. A couple of you said the vocal was from him. If so, yeah, decent. Nice little vocal, matches the instrumental well. And yeah, again, a really nice transition into that tune from its predecessor. So yeah, a nice little track there, kind of like a double tune. But yeah, that marks the end of disc 1, and I've been warned that disc 2 is markedly different. So that's what we're going to get here for the following 9 tunes. Kicking off CD number 2, disc 2 is Front Seat. With this whole CD division thing within the LP, you gotta make a couple of CDs, you gotta make a vinyl or something. I mean, imagine this artwork on a vinyl. Would look fucking gorgeous, mate. Fucking gorgeous, mate. Mate, more good vocal sampling. More good vocal sampling from him. Oh. Really good sounds in there. It's really turned up, hasn't it? Such a marked difference between this track and the majority of the tracks that we got for disc 1. Naughty, gnarly. Oh, oh, oh! Aye! Come on then. And there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. I don't think there's a particular idea like shining through, but without having a particular idea permeating the tune or a concept that kind of stands out here, he does everything besides that to really, really keep your attention. There's so much going on. The vocal again, absolutely superb. Put you in the driver's seat. Yeah, that is good. I like that. It's clear that we're in a darker moment now for the LP. I'm liking that distinction, and I imagine we're just going to get more of it. Just so much going on in that tune, arranged really, really well. Again, I don't think there is like a concept that is sticking out with that track, but the idea again is kind of just provided by that fantastic vocal sample and the mad amount of gnarly, gravelly, gritty sounds that are just throwing themselves at you, just launching themselves at you, and not really letting you kind of take yourself away from the tune. It's just got you in a headlock pretty much, and I'm a fan. I'm a fan of that delivery and that outlay of sounds. Next up we have Psychotic. Already loving this introduction. What? Oof, oof. Okay. It feels like it's got an overly heavy vibe about it, like going for that over everything else. I mean, again, we have some very good sounds here, but it does just feel a little bit, again, like there isn't really that much of an idea there. There's not really like a concept to frame the tune around, just not really a thing to kind of hold on to and grab onto with that tune. So whilst it does feel like a good assortment of sounds that are, again, arranged pretty well, there isn't like a thing standing out about it that makes me want to go back to it that much, if you know what I mean. But over quite quickly at 2 minutes 14, which is maybe to its detriment as well, in that it feels like it's just getting going and then it's kind of cut short. So probably the one that I'm least enamored with or by on the LP so far, Psychotic. But next up we have Compulsory. I like those sounds a lot, just lurking below, I like those a lot. Oh, it's a Beast Boy squelcher. It's a squelcher. Die! 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 Come on then with the vocals hoppling. I really enjoyed the swamp-like sounds that made up the bulk of the first drop, and which carried on well into the second drop. So it's just a nice assortment of stodgy and gurgly kind of sounds that are more typical of Beast Boy, in kind of combination with the more metallic and machine-like sounds. That is good. It's a nice little combination. I think it does overstay its welcome a little bit as we get into the second half, and you're like, okay, you know, it's going on a little bit, it's just overstaying its welcome just that tad. But then at the same time, I do really like that he goes for the long form approach with some of his music, some of his tracks. Next up, track number 4 of disc 2, we have Whiplash with Shrike, another one of the most exciting indie underground. So let's go. Hey. Fucking hell, go on then. I'm liking this. It's kind of taking it a level up from the first drop. Feels a bit more exciting, a bit more elevated, just that little bit more going on to make it more exciting, you know? Kept leveling up, just going up and up with the excitement and the energy, I think, as it went on from the first drop into the second drop, and then within the second drop just kept leveling up, kept layering, putting more in there, which was good. I enjoyed that. Another thing that I really enjoyed was the little producer tags coming just before each drop. You got the Shrike and then you got the beastboi as well. Beastboi. That was a really good insertion just before the drops come in. That was good. Got some dreamy musicality, I think, to go with that. It might be another one that I realise over time could have done with being a little bit shorter, but for now, appreciating the length of that one. Next up we have Double Dutch, another shorty at 2 minutes 17. Oh yes, 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 yes. The fuck? Yes, yes, this one's hitting. This one's getting me in the feels. Another sensational little vocal sample. Don't tempt me, and then with the higher pitch, can't tempt me, can't tempt me. Yep, ticking along, loving that. Just wanted a little bit more on it, a little bit more of a development on that first drop into a second drop would have been nice, but then again at the same time, maybe the shortness of that tune in particular just matches the energy of the track overall, because that is definitely my favourite of the more rhythm leaning or just underground feeling dubstep tracks that we've had on this album so far. Like that one a lot, love the sounds involved, the layout of them, the little chop, spliced up moments with the vocal sample, all the vocal samples individually are very good. Did just want a little bit extra on the side with that first drop, with that main drop, but I think what we get there is good, and yeah, I think it is my favourite of the overly heavier ones that we've had here so far. Track number 6 of disc 2 is What You Know About This.
Play that shit, beastboi. Hit it.
It's a wobbler. It's a wobbler. Yeah, it's a pretty standard, straightforward idea. I mean, given what I was saying about a lot of Knights of the Round Table Volume 6, I can't then go, oh, this is really like forward-thinking and inventive or anything like that. It falls a little bit within that category, but still made pretty exciting and fun with the vocal sampling and the break moments. At least there's a bit of spice, a bit of flavour being sprinkled on here, you know.
Play that shit, beastboi.
Is this going to be another really long fake out?
Hit it.
Yeah, not one of my favourites on the album so far, if I'm being honest. It was a pretty straightforward idea that was repeated a lot over the course of the track, not too much variation. I mean, bits of spice here and there, elevating it in a way and making it that bit more engaging. And I do know that rhythm is made for kind of long form approaches and tracks and structures of that kind, but I don't think it really had any business being that long, over 4 minutes, just because there isn't enough, I don't think, there to kind of keep you engaged and keep you locked in, just doing the same kind of thing again and again, and not having that much development on that over the track. But yeah, some nice little sparkly touches given the idea that we got. Scream For Me is next up. I've heard this vocal a lot. I've heard this vocal sample used quite a lot. Oh. I like that. I like that sound a lot. I like that sound a lot. I'm not going to rewind. I'm not quite going there, but I'm just having a little moment just to appreciate that sound, because that is devilish. That is good. Oh, fucking hell. Oh, mate, that is so good. Why, like, how is something that, like, naturally jarring and abrasive and harsh on the ear just, how has he made that sound so good? That's really top draw. Mate, that sound, that squealing, whatever you want to call it, is completely mind-melting. Definitely one of my picks on the album so far, absolutely, and the closest I got to getting up, just to appreciating it in that way, easily for me, one of the best ideas on the album so far, and probably one of my favourite tracks of his ever yet within his discography at large. The drawback for me is that main sample. It always confuses me that people want to just use... I mean, it kind of makes me think, do some producers not listen to that much music? Because I'm like, they might hear that sample and be like, oh, I've stumbled across something good here, I'm going to use it. But the thing is, if loads of people have used it already, it kind of, readily strips a bit of character from your music, because it just makes it sound similar to all those other tunes that have used that. It takes that individuality away from your music. So, it's a no from me on that. But the rest of it, the idea... the production to back it up, just top draw. Big old fan. Penultimately on the album, we have Blood to Ashes with Zay. Oh, he's one of the best at breaks, like giving it those little jolty pullback kind of moments. He's definitely very good at that. But this is one of his more run-of-the-mill ideas, I think. UK from the UK. Not entirely sure the vocal fits with the instrumental as well. I think there's a bit of a contrast there, but open to getting more used to it and seeing how it works more over time, One of the more ordinary, straightforward ideas on the LP. I mean, yeah, it was okay. Does it have some nice fruity and sparkly moments that catch you off guard a little bit as the listener? Keep it that little bit unpredictable? Yes, absolutely. He is, as I was saying earlier, clearly one of the best when it comes to those little break, jolty kind of break moments that, catch you off guard a little bit, especially when you're hearing it for the first time. But the main idea that we got there, just a bit of a, trudgy, stodgy, just functional, rhythmy kind of tune with some good sounds in there. But yeah, just a bit straightforward mostly as an idea, given what he can do. But finally, we have track number 15 on the LP. Track number 9 of disc 2, Weapon X, just shy of 3 minutes. So, a bit of a short one to close off here. Oh. It's another pretty cutting tune, scything stuff. Oh, wobbly. It had more of those squealy sounds as well, but more in the background, more kind of hovering over the top than right at the forefront. This little... Oh, okay, little speed up. Aye. Oh. Oh. Yep. Oh. That is. Ugh. Bit of a roller coaster there, just to end off. I mean, you know, to open up with the first drop, yeah, was good. Very cutting, very scything. Still like a bit of a functional idea, but really did level up, especially in comparison with the predecessor, the tune that came just before. Just a lot more attacking, a lot more biting. I love that as just a development within the LP, energy-wise, and then it just goes even further. With the final drop, the switch up, the speed up in the midsection into the D and B, and that is just a perfect kind of execution of Beast Boy's style within that format. Really good translation of his style into a quicker format. Another quicker format, to be fair, given the house that we were getting earlier in the album as well. I mean, overall, does it feel like an album, this collection of music? I wouldn't say so. If we're talking about the more conventional approach to making an album, something that might have a bit of story bound up in it, telling a bit of a story, again, that kind of thing, I wouldn't say it has that. It has definitely, for me, more of a compilation vibe, more of like I just made a load of tracks and I'm putting them together in this collection of music. However, it does have the thing here, the pretty cool thing of dividing it up into separate sections and collections of tunes, whereby you have the chilled ones at the beginning more so, then it goes down a bit more of a darker vibe, a bit more typical Beast Boy approach for the second 9. And I also just feel like it is a good dose, a very good dose of his approach, of his style. I mean, if you like his way of making music, the sounds he uses, the design, the sound design and all that stuff, then you're going to be very happy with this album. Loads of the vocal play is absolutely exceptional, and a load of the sound play is also very, very good to complement that. So we're looking at some very good ideas here. Genuinely some of his best tracks, I think, on this collection of music, which is good. Saw him leveling up in certain places here and there when it comes to his idea creation. And lest we forget, you know, got a decent amount of variety and just diversification of his sound, which I think is kind of paramount in a way for an album. I like to see people experiment and try out different styles of music, and he very much did that. Don't forget, these are not my finalized thoughts. Only heard these tunes once, but that is going to be that for Wings and Fangs from Beast Boy on Disciple Records.